Two women who were detained in Minneapolis last week are sharing their story after they say they rendered medical aid to a federal agent who took them into custody. They believe he was having a seizure. In an interview with the Minnesota Star-Tribune, Tippy Amundson and Zemien said they were sitting handcuffed in the back of a law enforcement SUV headed for ICE headquarters in the Twin Cities when one of the agents in the car began to suffer that medical emergency.
And that's when the women jumped into action, acting as first responders to guide agents through, as Joe mentioned, what they recognized as a seizure. Amundson and Zemien were advised by their attorneys not to talk about why they were being held. But we know this incident happened in an area called Brooklyn Park. Well, the city of Brooklyn Park told our Twin Cities affiliate that 911 was called for a seizure in progress. That city, that suburb of Minneapolis, has been the site of recent immigration enforcement operations and anti-ICE operations as well, those protests.
Tippy and Heather join us now to talk more about this. Before we get started, we want to note NBC News did reach out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment on this story. We did not immediately hear back. Our affiliate CARE reached out last Friday. It has not yet heard back, but we do want to hear your account about what happened that day. Tippy, we should note, this was last Thursday, a couple days before Alex Preddy was shot. That was on Saturday. Yeah. Start just by quickly walking us through the moments you first realized something was wrong. You say you were in that SUV, handcuffed, other agents were there. Then what did you notice?
Well, we saw him. I saw him start to lean back, and then he said out loud, well, not really loud, very softly, that he was not feeling very well. And then his arms started to shake, and then Tippy jumped in.
It became obviously aware to me, or I was very aware of the emergency situation that was happening, but the driver, the other ICE agent, and the other ICE agent behind us did not seem to be aware that it was happening and that it was an emergency. So I quickly asked them to pull over, uncuff me, and let me help him, because we could hear his tongue and the fluids in his mouth begin to sound like they were going to be aspirated into his body, and I was worried that he was going to stop breathing. I knew from minimal training that I have as being on the emergency response team when I was a kindergarten teacher, that I needed to get him into the recovery position, keep him warm, and keep him calm. So they did that. They pulled over, they uncuffed me, let me run around the vehicle. They began to uncuff Heather. And then I got to his side and I told him that he was going to be okay. I had to move his service weapon from his hip to the front of his body to be able to get him into the recovery position. And then I just held his head up so that he could have a clear airway. I spoke to him and I asked him his name. I told him that he was going to be safe and that I was going to stay there until EMS arrived. Heather got the other ICE agents to call 911, and then they were on their way.
They had to be told.
But we had to guide them through every step of this process and every step of the emergency situation that we were in. And they left their vehicle open. They left us with this incapacitated officer. They left us with his weapon. They left us in a situation where it just struck me that this is not how law enforcement should be conducting themselves and should be allowing detainees access to all of these things. And as I just stood there, finally coming aware of the situation, holding this man's head, looking around oh my goodness, this is all happening, number one, and that I'm holding this man's head and his fellow ICE agents would not do the same
they
thing
left
for
the
me.
car. I had to grab a tactical vest to put under his head. I had to go and over the seat and dig in the back of the vehicle to get things to warm him up. I had to tell them to shut the door. Body heat is important to keep in a situation like this, especially in the weather conditions we were having that day.
And we're doing all of this having just witnessed how Renee Good was treated, a mom just like us, a woman just like us, a couple weeks prior, not receiving the care that she should have received. And it was just the whole thing is just unsettling, and it's hard to imagine a situation where they have to care for their own agent or another detainee in emergency situation.
And not only that, I mean, people need to be aware of the incompetency. these agents couldn't have had basic training for emergency response.
Tippy
I mean, we
and
have
Heather,
minimal experience.
also on that note, I mean, what an account of what happened, but also what happened between you and these federal agents when this medical event was over, after you had given this person help when no one else even could have. What happened after?
Well, they handcuffed us again and to transfer us to another vehicle. And we're like, seriously? Like, we just helped you in this emergency. You're still going to take us to the Whipple building? And they did.
Yeah.
They did.
On the way there, I asked when we were going to receive our phone call to call our lawyer, and they said that we should receive a call at the Whipple building, but they weren't aware of the current policies there. And then ultimately they asked if we had one lawyer we could call together, we could call from the car. So we were able to call somebody from the car, and they were already on their way coming to get us.
Very quickly, to the best of your knowledge, have you been charged with anything at this point?
Yes.
Yeah, we have. We received citations in the Whipple building. We're not even confident on all of the numbers. This is not our world. This is.
Well, you can't even read the citation. It's one of them triplicate forms.
Right.
Yeah, but yes, we have legal counsel, a federal lawyer from here in Minnesota that is assisting us with that part of it, but we haven't heard anything yet.
All right, Tippy, Amundson, Heather Zemien, again, we have reached out to DHS for comment. We have not heard back yet. We appreciate you taking the time this morning to come on and share your experience.
Thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.